Jim and his father, Wade, are shown burying a dead man in the desert at the end of Duster Season 1, Episode 2, right before the introduction of an enigmatic political figure. Duster Season 1, Episode 2, delves into Jim's unexpected collaboration as an undercover informant for FBI agent Nina Hayes after the premiere of the series. Before things go awry and Sunglasses' partner, Charlie, is killed, a shadowy enforcer named Sunglasses exerts pressure on the dishonest Phoenix police officer Sergeant Grooms as Jim speeds across the American Southwest in his vintage 1970 cherry red Plymouth Duster in pursuit of a particularly well-known pair of shoes. When Grooms witnesses Jim speaking to Nina at the conclusion of Duster Season 1, Episode 1, he immediately approaches him. Jim enlists the aid of a criminal named Sunglasses because Grooms is now on his case and could reveal his covert identity on the first day. Only after learning that Jim can obtain Elvis Presley's well-known blue suede shoes, which Jim was aware of via Izzy, does Sunglasses agree to assist Jim. Jim makes the trip to Palm Springs to pick up the shoes and fulfill his promise. Surprisingly, Grooms is shot, but before Sunglasses can shoot him twice, he kills Charlie. After seemingly being shot dead by Sunglasses, Sergeant Grooms somehow escaped several bullet wounds from both Charlie and Sunglasses. Throughout Duster Season 1, Episode 2, Grooms repeatedly claims to be a devout guy who follows God's will, which explains why he was in the ideal position to overhear Jim speaking to Nina in the first place. Grooms appeared to be bleeding out for several hours into the night, and it must have been a miracle that he survived multiple gunshot wounds. Grooms must have been wearing a Kevlar vest because the EMTs who picked him up reported that his lung had collapsed. According to the last scenes of Duster Season 1, Episode 2, Grooms will likely live and continue to cause Jim trouble in Episode 3. The illegal, unsettling movie that Sunglasses and Charlie had discovered at Grooms' house and brought to their meeting earlier in the episode is one important element that might end up haunting him. That film reel is still in the barn next to where Grooms almost died, unless Sunglasses took it with him after he appeared to kill Grooms. Grooms might lose his badge or go to jail if an EMT discovered it, which would take care of Jim's issue that Sunglasses was unable to resolve. Jim fulfilled his promise and gave Sunglasses the blue suede shoes that Elvis Presley once owned. Even though Sunglasses is inebriated and upset at the untimely death of his friend and coworker, Charlie, Jim arrives a little late but still delivers. Given what transpired with Charlie, Sunglasses boosts the cost of the shoes by an additional $3,000, which Jim is unable to pay. Jim understands that fighting is the only option when Sunglasses raises his gun at him. Before hurling a bowling ball at Sunglasses' head, he throws the shoes at him as a diversion. Jim had no choice but to kill Sunglasses, even though he had no intention of doing so. Given his size and emotional intensity, Sunglasses was particularly hazardous at that time. Even as the battle reached the bowling pins, where the pin machine shattered Sunglasses' face, Jim was primarily defending himself. Jim struggles to move the body about since it was Sunglasses, who is also the body that he buries at the end of the episode and in the teaser that was aired at the start of the episode. Thankfully, Wade, his father, comes to assist. Jim is unaware that Grooms is still alive, though. The lost case files on Saxon that Nina and Awan found at the conclusion of the Duster premiere episode are further examined by Nina. She confronts Evelyn Breen, Leland's wife or ex-wife, who dismisses her with a racial comment after refusing to respond to her inquiries. Evelyn is seen on the phone with an unidentified individual wearing a cowboy hat at the very end of Duster Season 1, Episode 2.